snowpack and weather outlook for May 30th, 2013. Here are the snow water equivalent values based on the percent of average for each basin from Thursday, May 30th. As a reminder, this graph is an indication of how much snowpack is left on the ground compared to the average snowpack typically seen for this date. As a result, this graph is highly correlated to the amount of runoff that has occurred in each basin. All basins except the South Platte and the Arkansas basins have seen decreases this past week. The largest deficits continue across the southern basins, which are now below 10% of average for the state in some basins. Here are the year-to-date precipitation numbers based on the percent of average for each basin from Thursday, May 30th. As a reminder, compared to the previous snow water equivalent graph, this graph shows how much precipitation has fallen this year in each basin compared to the average for this date. These total precipitation values do not take into account the impact of runoff. The best conditions continue across the north with close to 95% of average precipitation. The worst conditions were across the south with 67% average precipitation. These numbers are pretty close to the values from a week ago. Here's a map showing the forecasted upper level winds at 500 millibar pressure level or an altitude of approximately 18,000 feet. On Sunday, in the upper left figure, forecasted weak northwest flow will continue over the forecast area. A closed low will move across the northern Rockies early next week, as indicated by the other figures, with little impact for the forecast area, besides slightly increasing the pressure gradient over the area. So what can we expect? Dry conditions will dominate the forecast through next week, with breezy conditions possible early next week. Otherwise, seasonably warm conditions will continue Sunday through the work week. Here's a map showing the precipitation forecast through next Thursday, June 6th. Expect a dry pattern setting up through the first week of June with little or no precipitation expected. Expect a warming trend into the weekend with seasonably warm temperatures expected by Sunday, as indicated by the figures showing the high temperatures expected on Sunday, June 2nd. Seasonably warm temperatures will continue through the work week. So here's the outlook through next week. Expect a warming trend through the weekend. Seasonably warm temperatures by Sunday continuing through the work week, with the first 90-degree temperatures of the spring expected in the Grand Valley. Dry and breezy conditions will persist. There is a potential for critical fire weather conditions during the period, with a lesser threat this weekend. Snowpack will see faster melt by this weekend, and this will be due to sunny conditions and warm temperatures. We'll see rises in some rivers and streams due to snow melt, but expect flows to stay below flood stages. That concludes the snowpack and weather outlook for May 30th, 2013. For additional weather information and the latest forecasts and highlights, go to www.weather.gov/GJT.